Greetings and peace. I hope you and yours are doing well today, wherever you might be watching this from. Now, the title of this presentation will be the Samurai Bushido Code and its similarity to Freemasonry. Now, growing up, I was always fascinated with the Japanese culture, their way of life, their philosophy, even playing the video games when I was younger, such as the Onimusha video games. And then also I had a mentor in my high school days who taught martial arts, and he always went by the code of the Bushido, which is the way of the warrior. Now, as life went on, and I followed the path of Freemasonry, I saw a similarity between the code of the Bushido samurai warrior and what Freemasonry teaches. And they both teach you the path of self-mastery and how to be an honorable, upright, and upstanding individual in all that you do. And that's why I wanted to make this video, and I hope you enjoy what I have to offer, and I thank you for watching this. Now, the code of the Bushido samurai warrior goes by 7 virtues. So they have 7 virtues, and they have 7 ways of life in which they go about on how they live their life and how they carry themselves wherever they go. And it would be best described as like a noble system of ideals in Japan that came to light from the writings of between the 13th and 16th centuries, probably further even back than even what it was discovered, but on historical records from the Shoguns and other things, the 13th century, starting from there, that's when they were able to find out about them. And they have like a form of chivalry, you could say, a form of chivalry, self-mastery, honor, and ideals of code and their way of life that were followed by the samurai class. And their path was just to have a system of self-improvement and also to defend Japan and to defend its people. So they were like the protectors of Japan, and they had a honor code amongst themselves and amongst their elders, and how they carried those duties out. So besides like being physically fit or having the skills of a samurai warrior, their training also relied on being ethical, and they also relied on mental strength and obedience to the supreme being Hachiman, or I believe I'm saying that correctly, who's the god of archery and war. And also through Hachiman, they would be the divine protectors of Japan. Now, I found this very similar to the Masonic ideals, as walking through the path of Freemasonry, is that the Bushido Samurai Code, they have chivalry, they have being ethical, being honest, being self-mastered, where you don't let the ideas of anger, hate, envy, jealousy, lust, anything of the lower nature get the best of you. And also their code of belief in a supreme being and good character and all that stuff. So I found that very similar to what how Freemasonry carries itself today. It's the same way that the Bushido Samurai Code did back in their time. And I found that very fascinating, that even if you look at the Grand Lodge of Japan today, there were many samurais or from the samurai class that were within their ranks. So it kind of like ties it all together. The first virtue I would like to talk about is G, and that's integrity. So the focus of G is always to maintain your integrity in all that you do. So you always have to be honest and fair with all of your dealings with self and others in your life. Anything done in your life should always pass through the gates of honesty, integrity, and justice before you give it any consideration. Everything must be done accordingly to morality and truth, such as how we have in Freemasonry, that we have these lessons of morality veiled in allegory, and how with the Samurai Code, with the Bushido, that's the same way they look at it. And always, before you say anything or do anything, you would always have to question it. Is it honest? Is it filled with integrity? And does it qualify in the realm of justice? So it tells you to walk that path of self-mastery and have that integrity as you deal with yourself in your life. You deal with your friends, your family, your job, whatever you're involved in. So always have those virtues within you of integrity, because that defines who you are as an individual, is your integrity. And that, and you know, a man and his word, that's what makes him more qualified than anything else, because you know that you can rely on him when the time really comes. And I think that's the greatest wealth that one can possess in his life, is if you're a man of integrity, especially in today's society where everybody's told to just focus on their own self and not worry about others. So if we follow this path of self-mastery where we think about others before we think about ourselves, then I believe that we can really start healing this world in correspondence to what the virtues of, you know, this code is teaching us, along with the values of Freemasonry. The second virtue of the Bushido code focuses on REI, I believe, that focuses on respect. And it tells you that you have to always be respectful in all that you do and in your conduct. And you always have to be the better person in how you carry yourself in person, on social media, anywhere you're involved in. You always think, you know, are my actions or are my words going to hurt somebody? And if they do, should I just refrain from that and subdue my passions? And that's how it's similar to Freemasonry, where you circumscribe your desires, subdue your passions, and live within due bounds. So I really like this virtue out of the 7 of them. Now, the true warrior and believer will always subdue his passions and not be cruel to anyone. They don't need to prove their skills to anyone, and will even show courtesy to an opposing force. And that's putting your ego down. The true samurai is not only respected by his skill, but also his manners and dealings with others. Always to circumscribe your desires and live life within due bounds by subduing your passions. Always in a state of self-improvement by respecting self and others in daily dealings and not falling astray to anger or impatience. Now, we live in such a fast lifestyle now compared to, I guess, the 13th century or the 15th century, when the samurais were in power, compared to now. It's a big difference on how the world and life and people have changed. And we think that these virtues, especially the form of respect, can still be applied now, where everybody, I guess, they're in a fast-paced life and they're expecting things to come up quickly. Nobody has patience. Everybody's looking down upon one another. And I believe if this form of respect was enforced, whether in Freemasonry or in other venues in life, such as I guess you have different faiths that exist all over the world, different classes of people, different races, and if everybody comes on that middle ground and respects each other, even if you don't have to agree with the other person, but as long as you can meet on the level, meet on the middle ground, and walk away with some kind of respect for each other, then that's some type of progress. And I believe that if we espouse this virtue of respect, then we can do that. The third virtue is U, which is heroic courage. And this states that you always live your life with courage and not in hiding. A true warrior and believer is fearless in all of his undertakings. Even if it's risky, it's living your life and potential to the fullest by being heroic. Make the best use of your time here. So, how I define this virtue is, you have to put it all on the line. If you say who you say you are, you have to put it all on the line. Whether you're a samurai or you're a Mason, if you see something wrong happening and you have the power to do something about it, don't look away, because then you're going against what you stand for. And with me personally, I've always been the type of person who lays it all on the line. And according to what this code has taught me, I never really lost anything. Anything that I believed or people might have believed that I lost, I gained everything back times 10. Because this universe and the beings who watch over us, no matter what your faith or background is, you get what you put in. And if your intention and your actions are good and benevolent, then that's what you get back. So it's telling you is, why you're worried about protecting your titles or protecting your worldly honors when you know you're going to leave all this behind. Your time is running short every single day with each breath you draw. So why worry about hiding in a hole, or worrying about what others think, or trying to hide from the world, or not really freely expressing yourself? Be free In order for you to truly be a free man and break the shackles, you will really tell people how you really feel. And that's the beauty of true freedom, is you stand up for justice, integrity, self-respect, and honor for yourself, for your family, your neighbors, for your fraternity, and all the people that you believe deserve respect. And if you see anything happening wrong, you lay it all on the line if you're really about that walk, and you make it happen. Because some people just talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. So if we have more people walking the walk, then I believe no organization would be in decline, or no situation would be astray where mankind is falling short. Even with all of our technological advancements, people are still more spiritually empty more than ever, because we've been taught to be afraid to fully express ourselves and to sit down and have a meaningful conversation, or the other person won't say anything to the other person, even if they know they have the power to do something, but they want to protect their own position. So you is telling us that you're not really honoring your life here on earth with the short time that the Almighty has given you, and your hourglass is running short with each breath you draw. So do you want to make this life a worthwhile investment, or do you want to just live in the illusion that I'm going to take my titles and my honors of this world with me to the next realm? So that's your choice, but that's what I took away from the virtue of you, is to be heroic and be courageous at all times, and to always put your faith in the Almighty and Him only. The fourth virtue is called mio, which is honor. Now the true warrior believer have only one judge of their honor and character, and that is their own self. Their life decisions and how they are carried out is a reflection of their word, honor, and overall character. No finger pointing or blaming anyone else for your shortcomings. Now, the way that I see it, as you can see, it says the true warrior believer, and the only judge of their honor and character is their own self. And that's reinforced with the book of Luke in the Holy Bible. It tells you that the kingdom of heaven is within. And Surah 50, or chapter 50 of the Holy Quran, verse 16, where they tell you that we are closer to man than his jugular vein, where Almighty God is telling you that basically everything is within you. You don't have to look outside to any external source to save you or to give you any power. You are the temple, and it's your choice and it's your free will that you have been given, whether you want to create this in a heaven. Do you want to make this life or world a heaven or a hell? Your life is what you make it. And this is what the virtue of honor is reinforcing, is that your decisions and how you carry your life and how you treat others is a reflection of who you are. You can claim to be anything. Oh, I'm this title, I have this honorary thing, or I have this honorary thing, or I belong to this, I belong to that. But who you are as a person is not defined by those things. It's about how you treat others, how you treat yourself, and how you carry yourself in the world. And to not be in the finger pointing business and blaming anybody when you come up short. So what if you're in a clique or something, and you want to defend a friend because you saw him doing something wrong, and you want to point at the other person? The Mio is telling you to be honorable, because if you don't, then whatever honor you have in this world will not be counted in the next, because there is a spiritual price to pay for all of our actions and inactions. So Mio is teaching us the virtue of honor, telling us that you have to take responsibility. Take responsibility for whatever comes out of your mouth and whatever you do by your action and your word, because that is your true character. And all the holy scriptures reinforce that the decision of free will and how you carry your life and the blessings of Almighty God, we all have that within us. Even the person you don't like, they have that same privilege granted to them. So have that quality and have that love and respect and honor for all the people you meet, even if you don't like the person and they say something that you don't like. So you have to take the more honorable approach and deal with them in a polite manner, as both Bushido and Freemasonry teach us. The fifth virtue of the Bushido code is Jin, which is compassion. Throughout his life, the warrior believer becomes strong through years of work and training. They are set apart from the profane and must use their abilities for good. They develop love and compassion for their fellow man, and will always help if called upon for assistance. They have chosen a life of this nature. They must honor its tenets. Now, this is telling you that if you're choosing to walk a path of self-mastery, self-improvement, an honorable path or a religious path, you really have to put in that work, because you will get what you put in. And it tells you through the years of all the work and training and knowledge you put in, something about you makes you apart from your average person that's out here, that's basically in the profane, uninitiated world. And you have to be the better person and use your abilities to help them and not look down upon them. So it's telling you to have compassion, and telling you that if you're wearing a square and compass does not mean that that makes you better than the other person. It means that you have been tasked with a responsibility to guide that person. If you see them doing or saying anything wrong, you have to guide them properly. That doesn't mean that your head is in the clouds and you're thinking that, okay, this person, I'm not even going to talk to this person. We owe that responsibility to mankind, and we owe it to each other. So it's not just dealing with your own kin. You got to deal with everybody as a whole, because the love and privilege and the concepts of freedom and education that have been passed down to us, people have fought and died for those things to be passed down to us, and we inherited those things from them. So we owe that to the next generation, is whatever we had the privilege to enjoy, we have to make sure we give that to them. And that's about being compassionate to whoever you see, not just anybody that's just in your circle. So that's like when you go to different institutions and you go to different schools. So the teachers have to talk to the kids, because the kids don't know anything. They have to teach them. And if the teachers just want to talk to other teachers, then how are they going to leave a better world behind? And that's what the virtue of Bushido and the Samurai Code is teaching us. Especially to the world of Freemasonry, is that you don't have to just talk to the people in your own circle. Talk to the people outside and let them become a part of your life, and you can become a part of their life. And you not just ensure your survival for the future that way, you also leave a better world behind, because then you pass on your love and knowledge to others that can benefit from it. And we really need that. We really need that, because if walking this walk, if you just not do anything and not leave a better world behind, then you really go empty-handed. Even when your time comes and it's time to go to the other side, you go empty-handed. And if you choose to leave your memories of knowledge and love behind in other people, and in their hearts you're always alive, then you have immortalized yourself, as is your soul. So you have to honor that concept of who you are and from whence you came. The sixth virtue of the Bushido Code is Makoto, which is honesty and sincerity. So this is telling you, when a warrior or believer makes a promise, they do it. They don't give you their word. They don't say that they're going to do it. They're just going to do it, no matter how long it takes them or however much effort that they need to do. When somebody makes a promise to you of accomplishing X, Y, and Z, then they will get that done for you. And I believe in our society today, we need that more than ever, where everybody's just looking out for their own self and how to get over on the other person. And we need that enforced in today's society, that you need to be honest and you need to be sincere if you want to survive as a people. Because now, even if one person might do everything the right way, the other person on the other side might not take it seriously, or their paperwork goes missing, or whatever process that they were involved in, and there's a whole big debacle. So everybody on all sides of the fence have to be honest and sincere for things to work. And that's why you see all across this country, you have taxpayer money missing in this area, and this area, and this area. I could go on and on. So that means the representatives are not sincere. Some of the people are not sincere. Then how is a society or an organization meant to survive if everybody's just looking out for their own interest? And that includes many of the organizations we have here, and like in America, and it shows you that there needs to be honesty, accountability, and integrity, and sincerity, because no one's high and mighty, and no one's above you or beneath you. If you're making the effort to leave a better world behind, then you need to be honest and sincere in your dealings, and treat the CEO and the janitor the same way that you would treat the beggar on the street. So that's the same type of love and integrity and honesty and sincerity we need to have with each other. And if we did, then we wouldn't be in those situations where they said, oh, if you want to get something done, you have to talk to your congressman, or you need to talk to this person. Because people just try to get people out of their face. Oh, you have to go over there. I don't want to deal with you. Because honesty and integrity and sincerity lack in the society. And I believe we can learn from the East with all of the knowledge that they have bestowed upon us, including the code of the Bushido samurai. The seventh virtue of the Bushido code is Chu, which is duty and loyalty. The warrior believer bears responsibility and the consequences of all that they have done and said and will do. They are loyal and will honor those amongst their care. Now, duty and loyalty is something that I believe that we're also lacking in today's society, because everybody's been taught to just focus on their own self, whether it's on an organizational level or on a personal level. They just tell you, oh, just ignore the problem, just worry about yourself. But what about all the promises you made in the name of God to help that person when they needed help? So they forget about all that, but they don't realize that what they forgot or what slipped out of their conscience at the time, when the time comes to be judged on that day, everybody gets held accountable. And the code of Bushido Chu is telling us that the believer and the warrior, they bear responsibility for and all the consequences for whatever you have done, you said, and you will do or will do down the road. And they are loyal, and they will honor those that were amongst their care, or they have promised anything to. And you don't turn your back on them when it's convenient for you. You honor your brothers, you honor your sisters, you honor your family, you honor your friends, even if it costs you your own life. You have to lay all those things on the line and not care about the things in this world, such as title, positions, money. What's that going to do if your eyes don't open up tomorrow? If your eyes don't open up tomorrow, that's it. The game's over. Everything that you were so worried about protecting, and all your positions and titles and whatever ranks you had, it's all gone. The only wealth that you're going to take with you is what good did you do for yourself and other people with the short time that you were given here. And this virtue is stressing that to you, whether you follow the Bushido code or you have a faith, philosophy, fraternity, anything that you follow that enforces loyalty, you got to practice what you preach. Because if you don't, there are consequences of making false promises. This is the artwork of the Bushido Code of the Samurai Warrior that I found, and I knew you guys would have liked it, so I wanted to display this and its symbols. Now, the Bushido Samurai Code also go by a 753 code. So, if you're a Mason, you understand the 357. So they're basically just the same as us, just the inversion of it. So, the 7 virtues of the warrior: rectitude, courage, benevolence, politeness, propriety, honesty, sincerity, honor, loyalty. 5 keys to health: rational nutrition, sensible exercise, efficient rest, proper hygiene, positive attitude. 3 states of mind: alertness, awareness, Zanshin, which that's what it describes, Zanshin, Mushin, which is clear mind, and Pudoshin, which is emotional balance. And you could, if you go by the state of mind, health, and warrior, then you can do 357 on how we believe in Freemasonry. Now, it tells you that the key to self-mastery is just not your mind and learning knowledge and learning other stuff. It's also your physical health. Your physical vessel and building and chiseling your temple and your rough ashlar out of all the imperfections, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical, are part of that whole construct. So you see some of these gatherings where most people are out of shape, they're not taking care of themselves, and on top of that, they're serving alcohol, which is Al Ghul, the demon spirits. So for an organization to prosper and to truly be about reaching that high level of spiritual enlightenment, whether physically, mentally, or spiritually, you need to reinforce the habits of a good diet, exercise, eliminating alcohol and spirits from your events. Because how are you going to ascend and become an ascended master if you let spirits take over your vessel? And my friends from law enforcement can reinforce what I'm saying, is that anything that involved alcohol did not end in a good way for anybody. So we have to eliminate that. We have to focus on our good attitude, respecting everybody, being hygienic, being in good proper shape. And all you could do is just minimum exercise, but make that step to self-improvement by chiseling away at your temple, being honest in your dealings, and being alert, being courageous, and being loyal to your brothers, to your family, to your friends, and in all that you do. We owe that to each other, and we owe it to ourselves. And it's all about what kind of world are you leaving behind. Are you leaving a world behind where you chose to get involved in everything, but nothing really got done for your community at the end of the day? So what were any of your endeavors for? Did you become a better person for it? Did you become a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better brother, a better son? Did you become a better church member or a mosque member? Like, did anything about your life get better, or anything about your community get better? So sit down and think about it. If those questions are still unanswered for you, or if something's not fulfilled, then that means there's something lacking that you need to work on, or to take action for, or take responsibility for. Or if others are not doing it, you hold them accountable for it. Because that's the part of living a courageous life. Because what good is a short life if you're not really living your life to the fullest? I thank you for watching my presentation, and if you have any questions or concerns, please email me at salmonshake911@gmail.com. And it's always an honor and a pleasure to spread light and education. Always honor yourself and others in your life. And life is short, but life is also beautiful. And the reasons I keep the comments turned off is because the agents of chaos come and try to spread hate. So if I turn them off, then I starve the beast to death, and they don't have a chance to say anything. But I do give a chance to those that are real and have something engaging to say to reach me on my email, so we can converse back and forth. And I appreciate you listening and watching my videos with an open mind. And in your studies, take a look at the Bushido Code. Whether you're following that or Freemasonry, whatever philosophy that you click with, you master what you're good at. Master your own self and master whatever path that clicks with you. Because at the end, we're all walking each other home, no matter what faith or way of life you follow. No one's condemned to anything. As long as your heart is good and you do what's right for yourself and others, you will be ascended to the next level. And always have love for everybody, because we just never know when this life is going to end. And we have seen that in our examples recently. So always love and respect one another, and always do what's right and follow the path that's good for you. And study all the paths, such as the Bushido Code and other ways of life that are out there. So thank you again, and may God bless all of you and your families, and remove all worries and sorrows from your hearts as we move on into the second month of 2020. Thank you.